Hi guys, excuse me, how's that for a start? I'm losing my voice, I haven't even started talking yet, Courtney. Hi, you're welcome to Australian Anti-Ice. Let's talk about ice on the couch. I'd like to say tonight I'm filling in for Andrea, who's had a big time in Melbourne, so she's having a break, so I think she deserves a break, don't you think, Courtney?
Definitely.
Absolutely. Andrea does so much for this organisation, and we absolutely love her and adore her, and we want her to be well, so we're giving her a week off. So welcome, my name's Leanne, and tonight we'll be talking to Courtney, and Courtney will be sharing her story.
Hey guys.
I'm coming from the other side of ice addiction, and guys, please share this video and live stream right now with your mates and family, because you never know who you could be saving tonight, because with what Courtney's got to say, and I know a little bit about your story, Courtney, I'm sure you can reach somebody out there who may be suffering an addiction or have a family member or loved one suffering an addiction. So let's get underway, guys, and I just want to give a shout out to Nathaniel, who has helped me technically tonight, and to Andrea, if you're watching. Rest well, Andrea, you deserve the break. Hope you're enjoying the island holiday there. I'm not joking. And it's a happy birthday to our Glenn too, by the way. He's one of our valuable team members, and he's behind the scenes there looking at questions. So guys, if you've got any questions throughout the night, don't be shy. Type them up on our Facebook page there, and Glenn will pass on any questions that maybe need answering tonight, okay? So let's get on with the show. And I'd like to introduce you to Courtney. Courtney's one of our wonderful presenters, and has been through the rough thing of ice. Sorry, went blank then. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Courtney. What was firstly your life like before ice addiction? What kind of life did you have?
Alright, so I was 22, it was my 22nd birthday the first time I tried ice, but before that I would say that I was addicted to alcohol. I was drinking every day and starting to get in trouble. I actually broke my feet 3 times. I was getting hospitalized, and I was quite self-destructive. And actually the first time I tried ice, I thought, hey, this is awesome, you know, look at me, I'm not drinking, you know, this is great, I'm sober, this is a good thing. But I tried it on my 22nd birthday, and within 1 week I feel that I was addicted to it.
It's a terrible drug.
Yeah, like I went from just a small amount to the end of the week, my mind was just like, let's get some more, and that was all I was really thinking about.
Okay, so how did you get onto the ice? Did somebody introduce it to you, or?
Yeah, well, I used to use, you know, I was drinking and I tried other different drugs. I feel like maybe I was always just trying to escape something a little bit. I was maybe a little bit sad a lot if I ever really stopped drinking or doing any drugs, so I just always wanted to be out of it. And somebody just introduced it. I didn't really know. I didn't know how bad it was. I just thought, oh, this is something new to try. And I thought I was having a great time. And by the time it took me like a few months in, I worked out like, oh, this isn't a good time. But by then it was already too late. I was already addicted by then.
And there's a couple of key words I noticed you said there was escape. And that you didn't know what you were taking. No. And this is the thing that we want to do. We do at Anti-Ice here. We go in with education and awareness to schools and prisons, because people don't know what they're doing. Young people think they're escaping life that's hurting them, where it be family or whatever, or losing a loved one, or breaking up of relationships. And they think by having this drug, they don't realise what it can be. It's lethal. It can have Drano in it, poisons it's made of, and stuff like that. So you didn't know what you were taking.
No, I always used to say that, like, by the end I felt that it stole my soul. Like, I really lost who I was as a person, and I have a younger brother who I really care about, and like I stopped caring for him and really let him down. I started to lose all my friends. Everyone was like, you know, you're going too hard, and maybe deep down I knew it, but it's all I really cared about. It was all I could think about and all I put my time into. And by the time like you work it out, at first you're having fun, like, oh, I'm awake, look at me, I'm not drinking. And I was unfortunately sharing it with all my friends. Hey everybody, you know, let's try this. And then by the time I worked out like how terrible it was, I was already gone. I was too addicted by then.
Okay, at this point, guys, if you know somebody who is addicted to the ice, or you are having trouble yourself with addiction, you can call us during office hours on 07 5665 6063, and we can get somebody to help you, a buddy, like Courtney's one of our buddies, get alongside you to get you into some help and some resources and some support services for you. And if you've got a loved one suffering in ice addiction, please call our family support number on 0481 844 555. Just a little short ad there, guys, as Courtney thinks about the
I
next
think
part of
that's really important, because when I was starting to get lost in here, like a lot of my family, they didn't know who to reach out for. You know, they were feeling very sad. My nana was very upset, and my parents didn't really know how to deal with it. And I think a lot of people, you know, they don't know what's going on and who to reach out for. So I think having the anti-ice campaign, some people that understand, and like there's people that work here whose family members have been through this and understand where you're coming from. And also even like you can end up really lonely when you're using ice all the time. Like you ostracize everyone, and you can end up in I personally end up in some really dark, lonely spaces, and it would have been good to know that I could have reached out to someone or who to turn to at that time. Yeah,
and that's where we work in that proactive manner, don't we?
Yeah.
We're here, guys, to be able to help put support in place for you if you're struggling with addiction and have a loved one. What about family? What about your family? Tell us a little bit about your family and how they did cope, and what mistakes maybe were made and what they learnt, and what can you share about your life?
See, I'm going to have to start. So my family, I come from a family of really strong people, but there's a lot of trauma in my family. From my parents have had some really hectic lives and have been through a lot of things, and I think along comes with that is like addiction can come into that, and my childhood could be chaotic at times. And I think maybe like there was this, I felt very alone when I was young. I felt quite ostracized, and at times like I couldn't connect with people, and so I really feel like that maybe set up the groundwork for me ending up so addicted to ice and in the hole where I ended up.
Right.
But like it can be really hard for a family as a whole, so they didn't really know how to support me, and perhaps I was really angry when they'd try to talk to me. They'd say, you know, you're going too hard on drugs, and I'd be angry, like, oh, who are you to talk? You know, you drink too much or you do this. And they weren't really able to reach me because, you end up really alone with a lot of your pain, and you're in your head a lot. I was awake for days and days, and you're not having happy thoughts there. You're really sitting alone in your, pool of despair at that time.
And did you go through psychosis?
Oh,
a lot do go through?
I did. I probably used for about, maybe like the first year I still managed to keep my friends and I kept my job, but then it started to go more and more downhill, and I actually ended up with a partner who was selling drugs. He was quite high up, so I ended up with unlimited supply, and he was very controlling and violent to me, so I ended up really cut off from all my friends and my family. And I absolutely lost my mind, and it was a really terrifying place to be. I snapped from reality, and I didn't know what was real or what wasn't. And then the only person I had around me was a man who was also using drugs, and he was very violent and controlling. Yeah, and I used to wander the streets like alone for days. I'd be terrified all the time. If I heard helicopters, I'd think they were coming after me. But it did add in with it too, because he was like video recording me, and he'd like follow my movements and stuff. So that just really set my paranoia out of it. Yeah, and that was in the end. Actually, all my friends, they loved me, but it was too much. Like if you love somebody and you're watching them hurt themselves, sometimes there's a lot of anger from people, but it's not. It's because they love you, and they're like, why can't you stop hurting yourself? And some people had to cut me off because that was the best thing for them. But in the end, I actually had a dog, and he was my only friend.
Wow.
Like for about 6 months, I had this one dog, and that was my only friend. He was a good friend, I got to admit, to have someone that loved me. And me and him would wander the streets. We'd ride around on bikes at night time, just not knowing what
Yeah.
was going on.
So were you homeless? Did you experience homelessness at all through your journey? Or?
Well, sometimes I wouldn't be able to go home to where we were, and so I'd sleep outside, or sometimes I'd just start walking, in all honesty, and I'd walk for like across from Burleigh to Southport and
do a Forrest Gump.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, just keep walking and sleep. And then sometimes we had to run away. We did have a car though, so we'd sleep in the car sometimes.
Yep.
Me and the dog.
Oh wow!
But I kept going back really because that was the only person. And like I tried to reach out to people, but I wasn't really making much sense. Like people didn't know how to approach me, and I didn't know how to approach them either. I was like, I have a friend who's watching this now, and I chased her down in the car once when I seen her, and I was rambling some pretty crazy stuff, and like I'm really lucky she's still my friend to this day.
Oh, that's great that you had that friends and support that was there, even though they didn't know how to handle it.
No, they didn't.
And this is what we do at Anti-Ice. We can support those too that are loved ones of friends and family members of those caught in addiction, and we can teach you about enabling and not enabling. How many of your friends did get addicted? It's a good question.
I know, see, that's a good question. So probably I had two main friends that when I was on all the time, they were with me all the time, and so we were always using. But when I stopped, they managed to stop as well. I was the instigator. I was the one that brought the drugs around a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. And well, if I'm going to be honest of who got addicted, my mum ended up getting addicted with me for a while, and that was a really hard situation.
It would have been
for us all to be in. Yeah, and there was a lot of times I've had a younger brother there, and I looked around at one point and I thought, oh, I'm in trouble, I need some support, and I reached out to Mirakai. And they supported me. They wanted me to go to rehab, but I wasn't willing to do that. But they talked to me and supported me for a bit.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you a very deep question here. What was the lowest point in your addiction? What was your lowest point that got you to turn around, to change face about?
So by this time, like I'm with this violent partner, I haven't spoken to friends and family for probably 6 months, and I was just terribly sad, like all the time. Like even just before we go back, that like I had times when I didn't want to use, and I really tried not to use, but it was like this aching sadness that was inside of me, and I'd like step over my younger brother to go out and use this drug, like, and I would feel really terrible, but it was just like this deep sadness, and it controlled me, and I felt like the only thing that stopped me feeling that way was when I used. As soon as I would use, I wouldn't feel my feelings anymore. I'd just turn off. But then, so when I finally reached my point, I was really alone and in this bad place. I definitely was suffering with psychosis, and actually, I said the dog was my only friend. So at a moment I was outside and the dog was playing with me, and this neighbour dog came up, and I was hanging out with them, and I went down to the water with the dogs, and I washed myself in the water, and I've come back into the house, and my partner at the time, he come in and he picked me up and he threw me across the room, and at this point I just started crying, and I couldn't stop, and I started crying. It was this deep crying, like it wasn't that incident, it was maybe all this pain that I'd been carrying inside me for years and years, and I just started crying, and I actually was using the drug. I was smoking, and I was saying, I was like, it's not working, because usually I could be having a panic attack or something going on, and as soon as I'd have the drug I would turn off. But this time I just feel like I personally feel it was a God moment, or like there was a point inside of me where it was like, enough, like this is it, you can't hold this pain in anymore. And I cried for about 2.5 hours, and it was one of the roughest experiences of my whole entire life, in all honesty. But once I finally ran out of tears, I didn't need the drug anymore. But that didn't mean, like, I didn't turn my life around and stop using straight away. But after that, the need that I felt was gone. Yeah, and so then I started to reach out. I'd show up at my nana's sometimes, just on her doorstep at like 4 a.m. and she was very distraught, but she was always tried to be there for me and didn't turn her back on me, and I started to reach out more, and then I finally actually, I had a final incident. My partner, he punched me in the nose, but then he started laughing at me. And then from that point, I was like, I'm done here. So I took my dog and my bike, and I rode off.
Yep.
Yeah. So we had to go to a woman's shelter because he was quite angry. So we had to go hide away from him for a while, and then I'd say that was from when I started to just start my life from scratch. But I was still quite out there yet. Like I wasn't quite sure what was going on and who I could trust. I still was dealing with psychosis, but I started to get some counselling at this place, and there was a lot of really lovely women that were around me and supporting me.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So I stayed there for about a month or two, and then I actually there was this guy when I was using that came to the house, and he was using too, but he actually fell for me when we were there, but he was trying to be nice to me, and I was so out of tune. I thought he was trying to get me. I was like, why is this guy following me around? What does he want from me? And apparently he just wanted to be nice to me, and I was so out of tune that I didn't understand that. But he came and picked me up, and we both moved back to my nana's house. And we probably sporadically used maybe for about the next month, but we'd started to that point. I found that was healing for me a lot. I spent a lot of time out in nature.
Yes.
I spent a lot of time swimming, just going to rainforest, just sitting in trees, like just really back to basic things to start to calm myself and feel connected to something again. Because I was, really disconnected from life and myself. So, and then we started to really clean up, and I probably didn't use for about 4 months. I started to get a few of my friends came back into my life.
Good.
I cried like when some of my friends saw me. It felt really nice for them to reconnect with me. The main thing was I had to win my brother back.
Yes.
So I rode my bike down to visit him. He was really angry the first time I showed up to see him because he felt I left him alone, and like we both had a bit of pain from our childhood, but he had like a bit more because he had to deal with watching me go downhill, and he said he felt like I didn't love him or care for him anymore. But
how much younger than you is he?
So 8 years younger, but I'm 30 now, so like when I was stepping over him, he would have been about 14 or 15, but he was really struggling. Like he was trying to go to school, and you've got the home environment, people are using drugs, like that was a really hard time for him, but it took me a while to win him back, and that was probably the main thing that really healed my heart, was to start to rebuild that relationship with him and his heart too. Like so
cool. And so you start to build your life up
again.
I
started to build my life up again and feel good, and I managed not to use for about 4 or 5 months, and me and my partner by then, that man, his name's Justin, we decided to get a house together. And it was so stupid. Everything was going well, he was working, and we thought, how we should celebrate doing so well? We should get some drugs, right? So let's I don't know why we thought that was a good idea, but so we went and we ended up using the ice again, and like I remember looking around and I felt like boom boom, my heart going, I felt all sweaty and racing, and I looked around and I was at a couch in a dingy room surrounded by not very happy, miserable people, and I looked around, I was like, oh man, what have I done? Like, so what am I doing here?
We call that a relapse.
That was
and with that, how did you cope from that? Did you feel too bad about yourself? Because
I was disappointed because I managed to like save some money, and I said I'm going to the shops, and I just left my partner and I hightailed it to the pokies and pressed away every bit of money that I'd saved. So then I came back and I went home that night, first night in our new home, and my dog, I still have me, and he's looking at me. He knew, like, what are you doing awake? And I was like, I'm sorry. And I sat up all night, and I just felt really bad. The rush wasn't good. It wasn't like, it didn't make me feel better. I'd started to build a life that was starting to have, be good. It was a slow process, but there was more good things I was adding into my life, and I really noticed a difference. And then for about a week, I noticed how my energy levels were. I was snappy. I struggled to get out of bed, and after that, I thought, I'm done. I'm not doing that again.
So did you find by relapsing, because a lot of people see relapse as a negative,
Yeah.
but I know
No, I think it needed to happen.
It needed to happen, and you can turn that into a positive.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how many times you fall down, you can always get up.
And you get up a bit stronger, you learn a
Yeah,
little
you
bit
definitely,
more.
you dust yourself up and you get up again, because beating yourself up isn't going to help. Like, you know you're stuffed up, but hating on yourself and being mean to yourself, you don't need that. You know, like, people aren't using drugs because they're in a happy place and feeling good about themselves. You really need some love, and you're still worthy of love, you know, no matter what happens.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
So from that really gave you more strength and determination.
Yeah, it really did. It went from this point, I thought, wow, I'm not doing, you know, that again. But no, I think it needed to happen, because then I would have always thought in my mind, oh, I'm doing really good, let's reach out for it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So from that moment on, what did you do? What did you put into practice?
So I started,
get clean
I was spending a lot of time with my brother. He started to go to TAFE, and I'd pick him up every day, so getting to rebuild that relationship. I spent a lot of time with my dog. I spent a lot of time with my dog. I spent a lot of time in nature. I went to waterfalls. I was really lucky my partner Justin was working at that time, which was really hard for him just to jump straight back in, so I got to sleep a fair. I ate everything, guys. I was like, hey, I haven't been eating for years, like, nom. And and then after a few months, you know, I got a little bit bigger, and I thought, oh, and I better curve this in. And I actually ran into an old friend who ran exercise classes, and I started going along to those. There was a lot of fun and boxing and doing that. Yeah. So I just started, and my friends, I started to reconnect with those people, so that was really good too. All those things really helped. And I feel like it's been it takes time. Like, I've been clean now for 4 years. And like, I did a diploma last year. I'm in a good place. I've been working full time. I have a really good group of people around me, but that took a fair bit of time to grow and to build. And so, you know, it was just those small steps I started doing, working 1 or 2 days a week. You know, I had a bit of a counsellor, somebody to talk to who had used drugs before. And it was also good to have my partner, because we were both supporting each other to come out of that.
And that's the thing about lived experience people. I know with what Andrea says with her story, when she went into a counsellor that had no life experience and wanted to work by the book and meant well, but she looked at her and basically said, well, you don't understand what I'm going through. I can't talk to you. So
if people don't understand, you can feel when someone understands or not. And this is something where, you know, you really need to have that connection and understanding from it. And like, it's me sorting out my life has really helped everyone around me. My brother's doing awesome. He found music, and he went to uni, and he plays all instruments now. My mum's, you know, got out of that lifestyle. She had to move away.
Wow.
But that was really, really good. She moved away from, you know, sometimes people do need to take that step and leave where they are, because there can be a lot of triggers around you. I'm lucky that when I got all my old friends back in my life, they weren't part of that lifestyle. And like, now my friend who I used to take all the time on benders with me, I'm taking him to exercise. We go to bongos on Sunday and we dance. Like, it's good to be doing good things and be a good influence now. It is,
but like you said, it takes time, and sometimes it's 1 foot in front of the other just to get through a day. Yeah,
and sometimes, like, I joined a course, but I thought I was ready to start studying, but, you know, I got really overwhelmed when I was there, and I dropped out, and I felt a bit like, oh, you know, what a failure. But that's not true. It just wasn't the time. You gotta really acknowledge when you're doing good and pat yourself on the back. Because maybe people around you haven't, or maybe your self-talk's been bad, but that was a really big thing, was changing my self-talk and beliefs, and also starting to put things into practice so that I could see I was a good person and worthwhile.
Oh, good. That's terrific. And doing those steps and having that support is so vital and important.
Definitely.
And like you said, moving away, like I was going to ask you about your mum. Where is your mum at the moment? So
she lives down near Canberra. I'm not going to say where, but somewhere near the water. And she's actually doing really, really well. She started studying. Like, she had a bit of PTSD. Like, my parents have had quite a hard upbringing. You know what I mean? So they were always reaching for something. But she's studying to do real estate, and she's really happy and in a good place.
So guys, there is the other side. If you're struggling with addiction, we just plead with you, hang in there. Find
don't
good
give up.
support. Don't give up. Even if you find your relapse, use that as a maybe a bouncing point to go to the next level.
Then you'll notice how you feel and the difference, and know that you can build a good life. Like, and don't kick yourself about it. Just dust yourself up and try again. Always. If you fall 10 times, as long as you get up 11, that's all that matters.
Yeah, and be gracious to yourself, and that's what grace is. And I think that's the biggest thing with Australian Anti-Ice campaign is grace. We all deserve a second, third, fourth chance in life. And we've got another question here. Now we're going to talk about a little bit about what you do with AAIC.
All right.
So where are you at with us, Courtney? How did you get onto AAIC?
Okay, well,
I'd like to hear that story.
I have been working in a petrol station. I did my diploma last year to be a youth worker, or work with families. And I started to think like, I hadn't landed a job yet, and I thought, oh well, I'm just going to start volunteering. I'm going to spend my time volunteering and just put myself out there. And AIC actually popped up on my Facebook, and I spur of the moment, I was walking my dogs, and I know, weird, eh? And I gave them a call, and they said, oh yep, we're about to do a information course, come in and train. But the funny thing was, I looked in my wallet and a man came into my work. He was a boxer, and we were speaking, and I told him a little bit of my story, and he had actually been working for AIC earlier, and I actually had the card with Andrea's name written on it. So, and I hadn't done anything about it, and I just randomly remembered and found it when I came here.
Wow,
yeah,
that's awesome. So and you did the training, because what we do is you have to be clean a minimum of 12 months. And do the rehab, counselling, whatever. And we do the training here. How did you find the training here?
Yeah, I found it really interesting. I actually learned things that I didn't know. Like I wasn't aware of what was actually in the drug. Like, it's pretty actually gross when you think about it, that's what you're putting in.
What's in it?
Oh, it's gross. It's like Drano and the stuff that is in matches, and I forgot the name of it, but it's some chemical that you put bodies in and it makes them like melt. So like that's
acid?
I guess some kind of acid. So that's that's pretty gross what you're doing to your body. Yeah.
And so many kids and young people who just want to experiment, even with those ecstasy and weed. It's getting laced with the ice, isn't it? And it's laced also with all these poisons. So we go out and what you do with your presentation.
Well, I wish that I had have known. Like if by the time I started using and a new person would come along, we were using the drug, and I knew, I was like, don't touch this. Like, no, you can't have this, because like this one's different. If you've got a bit of a hole in your heart, or there's something going on, it can just snatch you so quickly. I was honestly gone within that first week.
Wow.
So we really just want to let kids know information, like what is that one, so they can make an informed choice and go, hey, this isn't something you want to steer near. Absolutely.
And what it does to your body and what it does to your brain. It eats away at the hippocampus, the front level of your brain, so you don't think logically.
And sometimes it takes a long time it releases your dopamine, and the receptors get overstimulated and they stop. That's why people feel so good. You think it feels so good because it's your natural dopamine making you feel great, but the receptors get burnt out, and it can take quite a while for those things to come back.
It can take a few years, couldn't it? Because I know Andrea still struggles with memory loss.
And just to feel good again. I think maybe that's why sometimes people relapse, but that feeling of guilt and shame, you're not really feeling good, and you can feel good by keeping on the path and building yourself a better life.
And just seek counsel, guys, but at the same time know that it's only a feeling. Feelings come, feelings go. And just write yourself a list. Sometimes I have to, even when I struggle with things, write a list of what the facts are and what are just feelings, and then it gets you back to that reality. Things like that, and this is what we teach, this is what we show at education and stuff, and it's good to be informed, like you said. So when you go out to a school, and you've done a couple of presentations.
I haven't gone to the school yet. I did my dual diagnosis training just last week, and that was really interesting. I learned a lot of information about mental health and addiction, how they go quite hand in hand. But I have gone up to a little town near Toowoomba. I can't remember the town's name. Millmerran. There it is. Hi, Millmerran. I went.
Somebody's typed in from Millmerran.
Oh, thank you. It was Millmerran. So me and Nathaniel went up there, and we spoke at a community thing. There's a lot of health workers, and I ended up speaking to a fair few people come to talk to me. They had grandkids who were using the ice, and they were looking after their kids, and they were looking after their grandkids, or friends whose son was starting to use that, and they just had some questions and to how to support, and I could let them know that they could call us, and just to give them some hope too.
Yes.
Yeah, so and that's what I've done so far, but I'm looking forward to going into the schools and speaking to the kids.
You've also done some buddying, haven't you?
Oh yeah, I
talk
do.
about that. What do you do there?
All right, so I only have one buddy so far, and she's really cool. I'm not going to say her name or anything, but that she was someone who's just stopped using as well, and we got in contact with each other, and so we've just, we just go hang out sometimes. The first time we went out and we had a coffee and we went down to the beach, but it's just to be there for her, and somebody that understands where she's coming from, because I've been there too, and to show her that there is hope at the end and that she can reach there. So
and gives a purpose too.
Yeah, it does. It's just really good to have a new friend to hang out with. So so that's my buddying thing.
That's what we do, and the lived experience people get alongside them, as Courtney has said she does, and we'll also help them go to NA or. Yeah,
we're going to go check out NA next week and just put some good things. We've got a beach day coming up soon.
Cool.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a beach day, guys. If you're from South, it's nice here in winter. It's not that cold like Melbourne.
No, definitely some sun hanging around still.
Yeah. Maybe you might see some whales, hey?
Oh, hopefully.
Yeah.
That would add to it.
And it does. It gives a purpose for somebody, especially with yourself that's been there, done that.
Yeah.
You'll be able to recognise signs and help her.
Well, it can be really daunting coming back into the world. Do you know what I mean? Because you really end up in your own space, and ice takes over your brain, and you're definitely not in the reality that everybody else is in, and that can take time to come back in. So
and it does take time. And as we're talking here, guys, just another reminder that if you are suffering from addiction, or you know somebody who is, please call us during office hours 07 5665 6063, or you can call family support, and Kylie will answer the phone for you and help you on 0481 844 555. Okay, and the other thing too is, if you want to help out, if you want to feel you want to donate, you don't have to be a lived experience person to want to help and donate your time or money. You can get on our website. Our website is www.australianantiicecampaign.org.au. I know it's long, but you won't forget it. So it's just www.australianantiicecampaign.org.au, and there are links there that you can go on, have a little fiddle around with our website and see what we do, read up about us, and if you'd like to donate. Our organisation is a not-for-profit charity, and we rely on the donations and sponsorship from businesses and kindness of people. I think it costs $10 a month, $5 a month to educate one child against ice addiction, and I think I've got that right. Getting their heads up through Glenn.
Sign language. $5 a month. It costs $10 a kid.
Yeah, $10 a kid or $5 a month.
So half a kid, guys.
Yeah, half a kid.
Help us out.
And it could be your child, it could be your grandchild, it could be your nephew, niece, or friend that you're helping out. We've got to get into the schools. And parents, at this point, can I just mention, parents, get onto your schools. Get onto the principals, get onto your, PNF, your Parents and Friends Committees, and really push to get us to come into the schools and educate your kids. We do high schools, we don't do primary schools, secondary schools, and we come in with a team and we follow up as well. So, and it's a good couple of hours of their time.
Yeah, it's just really, it's informing them. We're not like pushing anything too scary on them, but they get to talk to someone who's been there, they can ask questions and learn some things, and I think that's really important. Like, I know my partner or ex-partner Justin, his kids, like, from watching what happened, they're never going to touch ice. My brother and his friends, he's never going to touch that ice. They've had that education by having to deal with lived experience. But even this education that we give in schools, once you learn about it, that's not something, if it's offered to you, that you're going to reach for, because you're going to remember this person who was really strong and talking to you, but what they said that they went through, and you go, I don't think that's something I want to go through.
I know I've had comments said to me that it makes it look like that it's okay, you can try it, you'll get back on track, but I think it's only 1-2% of people that make it through the other side of ice addiction. You don't want to be that 98% that your lives get destroyed, okay, or broken, And so there's only a very tiny amount of people that do get on the other side, and I say it with great passion in my heart. Get to your schools. We need to educate. We work in a proactive manner.
Yeah.
Okay, it's good to have rehabs, it's good to have detox clinics. I'm not saying it isn't, but wouldn't it be better if we got it before it even happened?
Yeah.
If we cut off the demand to lower the supply.
Well, we still help all those people that are already in the addiction,
Yes.
but we want to reach everybody, so in the future there's less people,
Absolutely.
going down that pathway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Early intervention really, it saves money and lives and pain down the track, so that's
does.
really where we want to put our focus.
Yeah, and we find kids are not going to listen to a teacher who's never been there, or even police go in, and they're not going to listen to people who've never experienced it.
Yeah.
Those that have, it's difficult, I'm sure, to share your story at times, because you've got to share the wounds, you've got to share intimate things that have happened to you, that have broken your lives, that are not easy.
Yeah.
But you know what? If it means saving lives, and this is what I hear from the presenters all the time, they said if we can save one life, they feel like they've given back. And that's what they're doing, giving back. Is it? Am I correct?
Yeah, and what's the point of coming through all of this if you're not going to, share your light and try to help everybody, you know what I mean? So that's what I want to do, and that's what you guys are doing too.
And I can see the passion within you. I call you guys my heroes, because really a hero is somebody who saves lives.
Yeah.
Okay, to me, you can be a great famous sports person, and I don't like how the media calls sports people heroes. I think you guys that are saving lives are heroes.
Yeah.
And that's what you're doing. You're going out on the edge and you're sharing your story, as hard and hurtful as it can be, to be able to save the lives. And I just am amazed, absolutely amazed at what you're doing. I just love you guys to death.
Thank you. Love you too, Leanne. Right?
Love you, mate.
Right.
Feel the love, everybody. So please give us a call, 07565 603. Did I get
6063.
6063. Oh my gosh.
Sort it out, Leanne.
Yeah, sort it out. I'm getting all passionate here. I'm forgetting numbers. I'm not very good with numbers normally. 07565 6063.
Nailed it.
I nailed it.
Nailed it.
How about the family support number?
Right.
Do you know the family support number? 0481 844 555.
Oh, 555. Very nice.
So, please, guys, get onto your schools, as we said. We also go into prisons. We have got Retro. I hope you're watching Retro.
Retro.
Retro. He goes into the prisons and shares with the boys there. And we've had Esther as well going to the ladies' prison. Hi, Esther. And big happy birthday to one of our presenters. It's
Kayla.
Kayla.
What's up, Kayla? Happy birthday, girl.
Happy birthday. And it's also Glenn's birthday. Happy birthday, Glenn. He's behind the scenes.
Yeah. And Glenn. Hey, Glenn. What's up?
July's an excellent month for excellent people with excellent birthdays. Hello.
I feel like maybe your birthday's in July. Is this what you're trying to tell us?
What a funny
Just
feeling.
a wild guess that I have.
Just a wild guess. Okay.
Any questions? What's
Any
up,
questions? Advice for a family of a loved one. Very good question.
Okay, so... Well, obviously, don't give up hope, but I really think advice for a family member is self-care. Self-care is really, really important.
Good.
And if you're feeling empty and like you're running on low, you're not going to have anything to give. So reaching out and, friends, or even calling up the support network, that's so important. Yes. And also, you got to remember, that maybe they're still in there, because I was gone for a while. Like, if my brother said, he's like, it wasn't you anymore, and you still want to love on them, but you also need to protect yourself. But just don't give up. Get some support for yourself, because that's really important too. Oh, yeah. But know that there is hope, and not all the time they're not going to be ready to talk to you, but sometimes they're going to have a rough time, they're going to be without it, they're going to slept and wake up, and they're going to call out for you, and you can just be there. And it can be really hard as a family, because you're feeling hurt, and that can come from a reactive place. Why are you doing this? And you can get frustrated and react, but that doesn't really help you or them, you know what I mean? So just really trying to center and calm yourself and be there and loving and look after yourself. That's the best advice that I could give for a family. Yeah, and enabling. If we can talk a little bit about enabling and not enabling for family members. In other words... Well, don't give us the money, right? If we shop at your door and our dog's dead and we really want the cash, but we only want cash from you, don't give us any money, all right? And don't, if we're hocking our stuff, don't go get our stuff back. No, because that's where we're at. You want to support someone, but you don't want to enable them. Do you know what I mean? Because in the end, that's not really helping anybody. So, you know, you're going to have to use some discernment there, but you can be loving for them. But sometimes you might need to put up a few boundaries to protect yourself and know that that's okay too.
And they're called fences of love. We like to call them fences of love.
Yeah.
So that you like you said, you're looking after yourself.
Yeah.
And you're not enabling, and it's helping your loved one get to that point where they can see they really need to.
But
change.
maybe when we're getting better, and we're on our path, saying, do you remember when you did this? Like at some point we'll be able to talk about it, but I got to admit it felt like an open wound at first, and I was pretty ashamed and embarrassed, and I knew that I hurt those around me, and I was pretty out there, and I was trying to get on my feet, and it hurt, physically hurt, like ouch sometimes. And I know that you've probably put up with a lot and been hurt too, and there'll be a time where, you know, hopefully you'll be able to talk about that, but maybe when they're just getting on their feet, like really those small bits of those friends that accepted me again, those loving moments, they were really helpful. So maybe try to focus on those things. And if you need to talk to someone about your pain, you know, that is valid, but this is why we have family support and people that understand and want to be there and listen to you. But yeah, I'd probably say, you know, not rubbing it in, like doesn't really help very much. I'm sure you'll get your time, but it's not right when that family member's, you know, trying to get better or do better. And just be a listening ear and just be there for them in that love without like giving them the cash, like you said. Don't give us any cash, mate. Don't or anything valuable.
Parents, I think it's parents, and I'm a parent of older kids too. You just want to protect and reach out and love on your kids, and in that love you could be killing your kid, couldn't you? You don't realise it, but and I know parents will say, you know, I've done this, I've done that. And
no, you're not killing them, but like maybe you're enabling them. You're not actually helping. You're not helping them to help themselves.
That's a very good way of putting it. So okay. That's good. I see you're passionate about that, about this enabling and stuff. But and that's it. I hope that's giving people understanding. Look, guys, if you've got any questions out there, type them up. And Glenn will let us know if there's any questions written up that we need to answer. In the meantime, you mentioned earlier, I want to pick up on something you mentioned earlier, Courtney, about getting yourself involved in things while you were going through your healing process and the things you do. And I know with Andrea, she got involved in writing music, writing songs, and it helped her. And this is a good segue because we want to promote something here, guys. See this? I'm going to come close. This is an album that Andrea has put together. A bit to this way, okay. And Andrea wrote every song and the music on this little EP. There's 5 great songs on here. You can find it on our website, www.australianantiicecampaign.org.au. Go to the Shop Now link, and you can pick up yourself this album called Highway Destruction that Andre has put out, and every bit of profit from that goes straight to AAIC and the work that we do. And I know she's got a song there about homelessness as well, Lend a Hand, My Brother. Fantastic song. Pick it up. Do yourselves a favour, as an old Molly used to say.
Do yourself a favour?
Yeah, do yourself a favour and get that album. And you can also get our shirts. Notice our shirts we're wearing tonight. We match. Don't meth with meth. And not even once. That's our catch cry. Ice. You can also order them on our website as well through our shop. And we've got books and other things there that you can shop around if you want to order anything online. There you go, guys. A little bit of a promotion there. But like I said, everything that's sold on our shop is the money goes towards Australian Anti-Ice Campaign and the work that we do here. Okay.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Look, time's getting on. It's 7:45.
Glenn, what have you got for us?
What have you got for us, Glenn?
Nothing.
Blank.
Nothing.
Blank.
All
Okay.
right.
Has anyone out there got any questions for us? Are we coming across clear? I hope we are. Too late if we're not. It's 45 minutes into the show. But we've got a big inaugural bike show and shine coming up too in August.
All right.
It's the 18th of August. Down at Burleigh What's it? I'm reading
Burleigh Town Tavern.
That's the one. Burleigh Town Tavern. We got
live music, sausage sizzles.
There it is.
Great raffle prizes going to all be happening, guys.
Yep. And we've got it's a show and shine for Chariots of Light, which is a bikie group who they do a lot of charity work. and they're going to have a heap of, I think there's going to be hundreds of different bikes there, and
yes.
prizes for the best bike in every category. And a big shout out to Chariots of Light, Retro and Tony and the team there that are putting this together for Australian Anti-Ice, because everything's made at this show and shine is going to Australian Anti-Ice campaign. So it's in support of ice awareness, as it says, and it's at the, where is it again? Burleigh Town Tavern in corner of Taipura Drive and Township Drive, Burleigh Heads.
Right.
On the 18th of August. Go on our website and it'll be advertised there, guys. So stick that in your diary and please come down. It starts probably, what time does it start? About, I'd say about 9, 10 o'clock. Anyway, if you're there early, we'll give you a job to do.
Yeah, come along.
Come along.
Bike rides for all. No, I don't know that. I just
bike ride. Don't say that.
I just made that up.
That. You just
all
you're
right.
scaring them now. So yeah, there's over 20 categories of bike shows and trophies to be won, and there's going to be auction. You can buy things and help support Australian Anti-Ice campaign. It's going to be a fun day of fun things, all things bikes.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking tricycles.
What do you mean?
I'm not talking tricycles.
Unicycles?
Unicycle.
Oh,
Hey, we ought
mate.
to get a unicycle.
That would be
Because
bad.
we should get that guy. Anyway, that's all big motorbikes.
All right.
So that's happening on the 18th of August. What else is happening?
So we keep talking for the hour, I'm assuming?
We
don't have to. No, well, maybe we'll just, I don't know, would it be all right if we...
What are we doing? We can finish it off.
Just anything else you want to say?
Yep. Anything else you want to add before we finish off? What is it that you'd like to say
What do I want to say?
that is really on your heart that you'd like to share?
That no matter where you've been or where you are at the time, that there is some light out there, and there is people that still care and love for you, and that you are important, and that you can overcome this. And you might feel really alone, and maybe you are a little bit, but you can reach out and you can get better. And for those people supporting their family members, I know it's a really dark place to be in, but know that, you know, there is another side, and there's people out there that love you and reach out, and you're doing a good job. Yeah, so that's probably...
That's awesome.
Yeah, and like, in all honesty, like, my life's really good now. It's not like every day is 100% fantastic, but I'm so content, and I didn't know that I could feel like this, and it's a really good place to be in. And it's the little things, it's my dogs and my friends and dancing. I love to dance. I'm not that good at it, but I enjoy it.
Yep.
But there's those little things in life that give you joy, and they're really important, and they're still there for you, and there's still light, and it doesn't matter where you've been or what you've done. You can come out and you are deserving and worthwhile of a good life.
Yeah.
And and I believe in you, and we're here to support you. There's people around that still love you.
And we as AAIC, we do believe in you. We're like, when you join us, it's like joining a family.
They really do. They're like, we love you. You're like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I like you as a friend.
Like as a friend.
Like as a friend. No, but it's nice. Yeah.
I love
it's
it.
good.
Everyone it's just awesome. And you got the support there, guys. You haven't got any judgment, not in this place. And there's no egos in this place. I think even working here is just such a joy to come into the office. And so, like I said, if you'd like to donate your time, go onto our website and fill in the volunteer application form, because I'm sure there's always something. And you know what? We're always in need of sponsorship. We're always in need of some kind of help somewhere within the Anti-Ice campaign network. And you know what? We're Australia-wide. And I just want to say at this point, we've got an awesome team in Melbourne. And Sezen's away at the moment. She's just left today to go to Turkey, back to her homeland for a while. But we've got, if you need contact there, just call the main office number 075 665 6063, and I can get you onto someone there. Melbourne. We've got Adelaide. We've got Michael and Eve in Adelaide. And we've got Cairns. Hi, Natasha. I got to meet Natasha the other day. She's so awesome. And Marilyn and Shane up there. And we're getting Sydney going. We're getting Perth going. And Darwin, and even New Zealand's, they're crying out for us. So,
definitely.
We're going to get going there. But great things are happening with Australian Anti-Ice campaign. And you know what? It's 7:50. I think we've covered everything. If nobody's put on any questions, Glenn, if you've got any questions, anything to add, Big shout out to everybody who tuned in tonight.
Thank you,
so
guys.
much. And thank you for Andrea for allowing me to sit in this hot seat in place of you tonight. If I can only be a quarter of a woman as you are, I've achieved much.
Wow.
You're a great woman, and we really love you and we miss you, and we hope you're enjoying your break. And I think we might just sign off now. What do you reckon?
Sounds good.
And what is it, our catch cry? Before you press that button, Glenn, we've got to say that we believe here in Anti-Ice, not even once. See you guys.
Bye.